welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute, I know. But today, I want to start with a story. This is the story of my first time getting a blood transfusion and finding out my fibroids returned. Yes, returned. So let's get right into it. So, if you follow my YouTube page, you know that I have been in grad school for about a year. I started my program last year in July. Everything is smooth. And so around September, I realized my periods became really heavy. Yes. And I thought, well, maybe if I get on some birth control, I can control this better. And that worked for me for a few months. Everything was all good. Then February came and I almost died. Yes, I don't care what nobody say, I almost died. I have never been hospitalized like that before in my life. And the first time I got fibroids when I was 22, nobody ever informed me that they were genetic, that a lot of women get them, and that if you get them removed, they could possibly come back. So I'm living my good, awful life, not even thinking about the fact that I had fibroids when I was 22. Here I am, 35 years old, in grad school, working on all these projects, doing my thing, and here I am in the hospital, getting somebody else's blood in me, and it's all because my fibroids have returned. Yes, I've been going to the doctor. Yes, I've been getting Pap tests, but you know what I found out? If you do not ask for an ultrasound, you could be getting Pap smears for years and never even know that you got fibroids growing in you. And basically that's happened to me. So I made a doctor's appointment. I never forget. It was February 27th, a few weeks before my roommate's birthday I was throwing for her, and about 2-3 weeks before we would go on spring break. And I started losing a lot of blood. This time my period did not stop after 7 days. It kept going to the point where I was having to change out every 45 minutes. I was becoming lightheaded. I was seeing huge blood clots. Guys, I am talking about clots as big as the baseballs. I mean, it was horrible. Thank God I ain't got no pictures of that. But the experience, being in the hospital and being told that your blood levels are supposed to be at least above a 7, and mine was below 3. I had to have 4 units of blood inside of my body. I don't know how much that is. I ain't asked no questions. I'm just sitting there in the bed with my arms out like this, just give me blood. The first day I ended up having to go to the hospital, I was feeling lightheaded. I couldn't think straight. I was dizzy. And thank God I had a good roommate. She took me to the hospital about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had to immediately have a blood transfusion that night. And so that night I got 2 or 3 bags of blood put into me. And then I was fine. And that's when they basically told me, your fibroids are back, they're bigger, whatever the case may be. I'm like, oh my God. So they give me a Depro shot, thinking that that's gonna stop it. It didn't work. But on top of that, they also prescribed me a Norethindrone. I can't say the word, I've been practicing, but I'm gonna put the word at the bottom. And that's the only thing that has stopped me from bleeding. And I have been on that drug since March. And when I say it's the only thing that stopped me from losing my blood, it is the only thing. And I needed it because I wasn't trying to be back in the hospital with all this coronavirus. So yes, corona came, blood transfusion came, fibroids returned, everything just came at me at once. Life hits you fast, people. It hits you fast. So I end up, this is a Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm in the hospital. I was there overnight. Y'all don't want to see those medical bills. Then 2 days later, I think I'm okay because they only gave me 1 pill at first. 2 days later, I'm bleeding again. I'm back in the hospital again, bleeding out. They think this 1 birth control shot and 1 little nori, we're going to call it a nori pill. This 1 little nori pill is going to help. I'm back in the hospital. I had to get another blood transfusion by Saturday night. And by this time, my husband had drove up to Syracuse to be with me because it just was getting so, it was just so traumatic for me, because the first thing I'm thinking when I think blood transfusion is like, I no longer have my blood in my body. Like, I got all these other people's blood in my body, so like all this crazy stuff is going through my head. My friend eased my pain because she's like, you know, my little sister had blood transfusion, XYZ, this happened before, so I'm feeling better about it. But it made me feel good, and I just could not believe I had to go through that. So now it is about July right now, and I wanted to try to keep this video short, but the information that I have is just, it might be a little long, so I'm probably going to make part 2. So I went all these months, still getting a shot every 3 months, but also still taking these nori pills, 2 a day. Because at first, the doctor that I had upstate, I don't know why, but she kept on only prescribing me 22 pills. If I'm taking 2 pills a day, is that enough for 90 days? No, it is not. She's thinking that I'm supposed to wean off these pills and it's just going. You can't just out the blue stop bleeding when you have large fibroids growing inside of you that even like kind of make your stomach poke out some. And so I'm like having to message her through the little medical telehealth thing just so I can get these pills prescribed to me. So I literally just, like when I went to get my second shot back in May was the first time that they actually prescribed me more pills than I should have just as a backup plan. So I'm trying to figure out my options. What can I do? She's talking about let's just wait it out, still giving me a Depo shot, not coming up with any type of solution, not saying what we're gonna do, like none of this. And I'm just like doing my research and then, you know, start finding out the research with how doctors don't really know too much about fibroids still to this day. And a lot of them will say, well, let's just see what happens and let's just all this stuff, but not actually doing nothing. So this is not a video that's supposed to, you know, educate you, that's supposed to tell you all this medical stuff. I am not a doctor. This video is just to tell you my experience for having my first blood transfusion and how it led to me finding out that my fibroids have returned. Okay, so I'm going to make another video. Part 2 is going to be coming up next, and that video is going to be all about my first hysterectomy. Not a hysterectomy, hysterectomy. Yes, it sounds just as bad as it might sound. Anyway, you guys stay tuned for these stories. Again, like I told you guys, I'm going to be back making more videos, telling you about this whole medical journey I'm on. So I'm going to come back with more stories. You guys stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you stayed all the way to this point, you a real one. You the real one. All right, guys, I'm out. Deuces.